Tears of the Kingdom is rich with story moments and great gameplay, and this game has gone on to be a bestseller in the series in a very short time that it's been available. Well, today I want to run down the best moments in the game, looking at both the gameplay and the major story beats in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. If you enjoyed this video, then hit the subscribe button down below for more Zelda content, plus you can also hit that join button for exclusive content, early access, voting on content, plus also access to our community Discord. And also, before we get into things, let me know in the comments your favourite moments in Tears of the Kingdom. And also, this is your spoiler warning for major story beats in the game, so you have been warned, but let's get on with the video. Well, first moment I want to go over is Ganondorf Rising. So this moment forms part of the opening of the game, so we see Link and Zelda exploring the depths under Hyrule Castle, accompanied by eerie music and a deep sense of foreboding. The music does a great job here in the introduction, mimicking a heartbeat which just ramps up the tension. Link and Zelda turn a corner and Ganondorf's corpse is revealed. He's twisted and deformed, and as he rises his body contorts. It's a horrifying realization that the Demon King is back. Ganondorf destroys the Master Sword, Link is injured almost to the point of death, and Zelda falls down through the floor, with a desperate Link jumping and reaching out for her, only for her to be swallowed by the darkness. Well, next up we got skydiving for the first time. So Link wakes up in the Sky Island and he has to make his way out of the cave that he finds himself in. Once he gets to an opening, he leaps off the edge, and we've got the title card reveal as the music swells. You know, the team had a big hill to climb to come up with something that would be as good as, if not better than, the Hyrule reveal when Link first goes out into the open in Breath of the Wild. I think the Tears of the Kingdom team did an absolutely fantastic job with this moment, especially when that music kicks in. You know, Link is skydiving for the first time, giving us that sense of freedom of the skies that we hardly had before, before safely landing in a pool, although still on the Great Sky Island. Well, next up we got the first time you discover the depths. So the depths were a fantastical discovery in Tears of the Kingdom. While much of the build up to the game had focused on the Sky Islands, we didn't really know anything about the depths. Elden Ring had done something similar, revealing vast underground areas. However, it was nothing like this. The depths are dark, they're dangerous, they're full of gloom, and they're the entire size of the whole of Hyrule. And that first time you go into a chasm in Hyrule Field, then jump down into the depths, it was one of the best moments in Tears of the Kingdom, reveling in that sense of discovery this series is most famous for. Well, next up we've got pulling the Master Sword. So finding and pulling the Master Sword is always one of the best moments in any Zelda game, but in Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo just elevated this moment to something grander in scale than we'd ever seen before. Now, there's various ways to the Master Sword, but my favourite is by saving the Great Deku Tree. You rid the Deku Tree of the gloom, and then you got that flashback to Link and Zelda speaking to the Deku Tree, revealing the Master Sword can be healed via a sacred power. Now, very early in the game, Link transports the broken Master Sword back in time to Zelda, where she sets about repairing it. Well, then later in the game, Link locates the Master Sword buried in the forehead of the Light Dragon, and that leads Link to locating the Light Dragon, pulling a fully restored Master Sword from it. Now, in terms of scale and scope, this is a huge moment, plus also the build-up through the Dragon's Tears and saving the Great Deku Tree, plus learning about the fate of Princess Zelda herself. Now, it's simply one of the best moments in the game. Well, next up we got the climb to the Wind Temple. So this one is one of my favourite sequences in the game. Link has to climb a mountain and then ascend high into the sky via the Sky Islands. The music gets more intense the higher that you go, and you have to climb higher and higher until you finally fly into a tornado to reach the Wind Temple. Now, I did this temple first, but if I had to do everything again, I would probably save this one till last. It is a fantastic sequence of moments in Tears of the Kingdom. Well, next up, we got that discovery about the secret temple. So, going into the game, I was convinced there was only 4 temples. But we find out after completing the 4th that there's one more, a secret temple that we find through the use of a laser-powered Zonai device. Now, we have to ascend up into the Sky Islands through the dust clouds, find that Zonai device, which then points a laser towards the depths, and then we got to put Mineru's bot back together again. Discovering that 5th temple has to be up there with some of the best moments in the game. Well, next up we've got meeting the sages, so we've got to help out with the regional phenomena quests, and that takes us to help the Rito, the Goron, the Zora, and also the Gerudo too. Each have their own sage, including Tulin, Yunobo, Sidon and Riju, who help us out in the temples, and when we defeat the final boss of the temple, we get a flashback to the original sage, who battled in the imprisoning war against the Demon King. Link is passed an elemental power from each sage, plus we learn more about the Demon King, his rise to power, and also how the original sages stayed loyal to King Rauru. So next up we got another massive moment in the game, and this is the realization that Zelda is the Light Dragon. Now, one of the most jaw-dropping moments in Tears of the Kingdom is finding out about Princess Zelda becoming the Light Dragon. This is told through the Dragon's Tears questline, where we have to find pools and we receive a cutscene and stories from the past. Zelda was transported back in time and received the broken Master Sword from Link and discovered it could be repaired through her powers. However, it would take centuries to power it up again. We also learned through Mineru that swallowing a secret stone would lead to you becoming a dragon, and while this is possible, it is severely looked down upon in the Zonai community. Zelda took that decision to transform herself into an immortal dragon, slowly powering up the Master Sword over time and waiting for centuries for Link to appear and retrieve the Master Sword from her. Now, that final cutscene with Zelda transforming into the dragon is one of the most defining moments in Tears of the Kingdom. Well, next up we've got one of my favourites, and this one is quite tongue-in-cheek. So this one is Ganondorf's Health Bar. So Nintendo did get a little bit playful in the final boss fight with Ganondorf. We start off by fighting Ganondorf, who we spar with for a few rounds before knocking him down. He then powers himself up into the Demon King, and we see his health bar stretch across the screen. I remember thinking, oh my god, how am I going to take this guy down? And it is a fantastic moment and one worth remembering on this list. Well, next up we got the Demon Dragon. So in a moment of desperation, staring into the jaws of defeat, the Demon King makes the decision to swallow his secret stone and turn into a dragon himself. At the end of the game we fight Ganondorf one-on-one, and just when he appears to be defeated, he swallows the secret stone and turns himself into the Demon Dragon, clutching Link in his claws and flying high above Hyrule Castle. Well, that leads us to our penultimate best moment in the game, and this one is Zelda as the Light Dragon saving the day. So after the Demon King has turned into a dragon, we take the combat to the skies for the final battle. All is seemingly lost when at the last moment, the Light Dragon flies in and helps Link in his battle against the Dragon Ganondorf. Together they fight in the skies, allowing Link to plunge the Master Sword deep into the head of the Demon Dragon, and that leads to a huge explosion and the end of evil throughout Hyrule just for now. It is an epic moment, and it finishes off the game in a perfect way. Well, finally then, we've got the secret ending. So once you defeat Ganondorf, there is a true ending to the game, which you can only get after completing the 5th Sage quest. Link, Zelda, and the whole crew are standing near the Temple of Time on the Great Sky Island. Mineru tells Zelda her objective is complete, and the whole group pledges their allegiance to Zelda, and Mineru is finally at peace. Mineru's construct then also crumbles into pieces, but don't worry though, you can still use this ability in the game after this scene, and this closes the book on Tears of the Kingdom and goes down as another excellent moment in this game. Well, let me know what you think in the comments and let me know your favourite moments in Tears of the Kingdom. But that is it for this guide for the best moments in Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and as always, thank you so much for watching or for listening. Don't forget you can hit that subscribe button down below for even more Zelda content from Triforce Times. You can also hit that like button too, I'd really appreciate it. Well, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.